Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the garage. Well, outside of the garage. So today we're not going to be working on our drag truck. We're going to get away from that and finally do some work to our 84 Dodge. So if you guys remember, we picked this thing up a few months ago and I really haven't done anything with it because when we went to pick this up, this decided to shit a transmission. We've had the drag truck, all that kind of stuff. This hasn't really been a priority. So that being said, I have been starting it every once in a while to make sure, you know, it's still good. I also put a solar charger on it so that way it stays charged and all that kind of good stuff. So today we're going to be working on trying to get this thing to start reliably. What I've been doing, if you look in the cab here, I've just been using like brake clean and carburetor cleaner to get this thing started. Now, once she warms up, she's fine. Once she warms up, she'll start back up. She runs good, all that. But getting that initial start is a bit of a pain. Now that it's warming up here in Pennsylvania, it's becoming easier and easier to do. But that being said, our 225 Chrysler engine here, our slant 6, our leaning tower of not very much power, with the single barrel carburetor, well, I think I found the issue. So if we look at it, it actually has a Hooker Super Comp header on it. So with that header, there's no place to mount a choke. So if I pull this filter off, here is the choke activation bar, or rod, the choke rod, I guess is what it's called. So when you whack the throttle, this thing should close, and then we should have choke to start the engine. So now, anything I get wrong, which there's probably going to be a lot, carburetors, points, that kind of stuff, not my thing. I'm trying to learn a little bit, but it's going to be a process. So if I see something wrong, comment down below. Just be constructive about it. Certainly not my forte. So anyway, we don't have a choke on here, and there's no place on our header to mount the choke. So we could either put a manual choke on there or a thermostatically operated one like it originally had. The factory exhaust manifold actually has a spot for that to bolt up. So we got a choke for it. We're going to try right here. Here is basically what I found is supposed to be on this. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. What the wire's for, I don't know. And we have some six Autolite 26s. We're going to change the spark plugs because who knows the last time this thing had spark plugs changed. So what we'll do, here's what it's doing right now. Oops, there goes my choke. So whack the throttle once, and so that's what we got right there. So if I spray it with some carburetor cleaner, usually it'll kick over, and it might take a couple times until the engine actually stays running and all that, and then you got to let it warm up before you can do anything. So what we're going to do to start off, we're going to change the plugs, and I think I'm going to try and put that choke on the exhaust manifold, and we're just going to put it on there for now and see how it works. If the thing starts right up, we'll make a little bracket or something, maybe weld something on here. I mean, as you can see, we have this pretty robust throttle return. Yeah, we got to fix that up. This little wire is not going to do. But anyway, we'll put our choke in like right here and just kind of set it there. And if everything works the way it should, make a little bracket to put on it and all that. So that's the game plan. Let's change some spark plugs, something that we really don't do here. So changing it up a little bit, getting away from the diesel stuff a little. We're gonna try something new. The goal with this thing is, I don't really have a goal. I just got it because I thought it was kind of cool because, well, it's yellow, but it's a two-wheel drive, standard cab, short bed truck. You don't really see these very often. The rust isn't god-awful bad, but it's not perfect either. Just want something to tinker with, learn a little bit, and go from there. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it. I don't know how in depth this is all going to get, but for right now, I just want to try and get it so we can put it around. So got all of our spark plugs replaced. A bit of a pain. The spark plugs didn't want to come out of the socket real easy, and the ones behind the alternator, not a big deal. I mean, there's plenty of room to work in here. Also, I placed our choke about where I think it should be. Just kind of set it in here on the exhaust manifold. See how it works. Our choke is closed. You know, this is how it should be. Like when this thing, it's a bimetallic spring in there, so when it heats up, it should be pulling on that, so then it would take the choke off when you whack the throttle when it's warmed up. And then when it's cold, when you whack the throttle all the way to the floor, it would be, you know, have tension on there, and it would actually push the choke closed. So we're gonna try it like this, and then if it works, then we'll build a bracket and all that. So we'll give her a shot and see what she does. Starts right up. I did start it without the choke, with just the new plugs, and it's doing the same thing it's doing before. Now it is in the high idle. There's a cam with a bunch of steps, and it puts it in high idle to start with, and it might be a little rich right now. And we whack the throttle and she calms down a little bit. Well, I think our choke is a success. So it started right up, and then we whack the throttle and it goes back to normal kinda. So let's see here. I'm gonna give it a few minutes to cool down, and we'll see what happens. Because when it cools down, what I'm thinking, what it should do when we whack it open full throttle, it should then reapply the choke like it was before. So we give it a few minutes to cool down and see what we got. But so far so good. I mean, thing just popped right off. It's amazing what happens when stuff works the way it's supposed to. You know, why this hooker manifold doesn't have a spot for a choke, I mean, no idea. Okay, so now the header is cool to the touch. We should be able to put this thing full throttle once, and the choke will close. Then we know that, you know, this whole setup works, and we can just make a little bracket for that. So, maybe. All right, so I think what we got to do is we got to play with it. I'm going to make a bracket for it and try and get it to sit right, and I think it's just a matter of how much force is on that to get it to close the choke. But it opened up, you know, everything was working the way it's supposed to, so we're going to go ahead and give it a go, make a little bracket for this thing, and then we can kind of tweak this bar as we need to get it to go right. So we'll pull her over to the garage and make something up. So here's our bracket that I made. Basically, it's just a piece of thin material. It's like 1/8 inch, I guess it is. And I doubled it up on the side here and on the side here. And basically, our piece just slides down. I used a hole saw to cut the main hole, drilled a couple holes, tacked the nut on the bottom so we can attach it. And then I just welded it on this flange here, which I think is the exhaust. Which I think on these engines, actually the exhaust and the intake manifold both have to come off at the same time anyhow. So that is providing, you know, tension up here. Now the only thing is there's nothing to keep this bar from staying onto the choke like here. There we go. So I need to find like a retainer for that or something, but we will have to also play with bending this rod, the linkage a little bit to get everything right. So the truck would normally sit kind of like this. We want to put our choke on, put it to the floor, and now our choke's on. So then as we start the truck, you know, it should start right up now, and then we can whack the throttle again as it starts to heat up and the choke will start to unapply. So let's start her up. So I think we have success. We may have to dial it in a little bit more, and we got to find something to hold our linkage on there. But basically I kind of bent and messed with it, fiddled around a little bit until, you know, this blade was pretty well straight up and down. So that worked. Our choke is good. The truck starts right up now with the choke in place or installed, which is exactly what we wanted. So just one little job to make this thing just easier here at the house for moving around, but you got to have the thing be able to start, and hopefully now we won't need any more carb cleaner. All right, guys, so we got our first job done on our 84 D100. The truck starts right up. Like I said, I'm probably gonna have to play with it a little bit and get that linkage perfect. Also, drop a comment down below if you know of something to hold that linkage arm on there. I'm sure there's some kind of a clip or something we can get, like with on the race truck when we did the doors, there's little plastic ones, so we can get that. But yeah, really happy that the thing starts right up. That's awesome. This was a well worth doing activity to have that. Like I said, we'll dial her in and yeah, just knock some little stuff out on this thing. Like I said, just trying to get it so I can kind of put it around and all that and get it drivable, get it kind of reliable, see what we can do. I know like none of the gauges seem to work other than the speedometer, but even just, you know, driving it up the driveway, the speedometer's all over the place, but maybe that's just how these older trucks are. So anyway, guys, something a little different tonight in the garage. Comment down below what you thought. Let me know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Get out in your garage, get the wrenching on your truck.